Hey, welcome back. We are here on the set today and talking to a dear old friend. And just talk about rock and roll history, Rich Engler, right here.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
All right, I just got up, but
Yeah, you know, Rich, I attended, of course, your movie, and it was killer, and we're going to chat a little bit about that. But I also want to go back to the early days when we first met. Now, Rich was in a great band in Pittsburgh here called the Grains of Sand, and I worked with him. I was in a group called Harambe at the time, and we did a show together at the Zodiac Club. And I remember Rich came in, and I said to my buddies, I said, man, he looks like Rich Engler, who was with the Grains of Sand. Didn't realize that Grains of Sand was really...
Yes, we changed our name to... Because I wanted some kind of name that was an expression, a feeling, and The Who was already taken, and Wham was already taken, and some of these names. So it was almost going to be Wow. And I said, no, let's go with either Woo or... And that's what we went with. So we had to figure out, how do you spell that? So it's P-W-H-E-E-T, P-W-H-E-E-W. So if you could not whistle. But it was, and a lot of people couldn't whistle, so that name didn't last for long. But the classics part was my band, right after that, opened. I was producing David Bowie for the first time, brought him from England, and did Pittsburgh at the Stanley Theater, and produced a show. And my band was the opening act as well. So I was wearing all these different hats to produce and then play, or play and then produce. So it was good.
And I loved it with Rich, especially. He was always the showman, right? And when I first saw him playing drums, and I saw his extension on his cymbal stands, you had your cymbals so high.
Yeah, they had to be up here because I played them from underneath.
Yes.
Instead of going down, I would come up.
Yes.
And then at the end of a lot of the songs, I would do this.
Yeah, crossovers.
Right.
Yeah.
The windmill thing. And
I loved it.
that was then, and this is now.
Well, what got you into concert promoting?
Well, the band. So my band, as Jackson said, that we became relatively famous in our area and very big in Ottawa, Canada. Oh. And with that surge of energy and popularity, you were able to call other bands that needed work. And my band could only play one place on Friday or Saturday night. So, and I'd start to get all these different jobs. So I'd call Byron's band, I would call Jack's band, and Mary's band, So next thing I know, I had 30, 40 bands counting on me, giving me $50 to $100 a night for commission as an agent. But the agent part of it, you thought I wasn't getting you enough money, and the person that I was selling it to thinks I was overcharging. I mean, it was just like, so I didn't really like being an agent. So I had a call one day, and I became a promoter with a call that I got from St. Bonaventure University, and they wanted Johnny Winter. And I said, Johnny Winter? Yeah, I can do that. I was lying like Pinocchio. It was bad, but I figured, hey, I'll figure it out. So I started calling New York and LA, and finally I get the agent for Johnny Winter. She goes, call me anytime. Yeah, we're good. So I booked the show up there. Now I don't make $100 from a band. I make $1,500 from the college for producing the show. Right. I go, wait a minute.
There you go.
Something's working here.
I think I'm going to be a promoter. So I started to wean off the bands and say, hey, you have to start to get your own gigs and whatever. And then one day, I book Yes, the biggest band in the world at the time, at Erie, Pennsylvania. And of course, my band is the opening act, and I think we were back to the Grains of Sand name again. And we're there playing. The show is sold out, and my band's playing, I'm playing, doing all the. So all of a sudden, I see out of the corner of my eye the band Yes coming into the dressing room. Boom, 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 boom. And I see this big guy coming with this big Tanuki coat on it. And he stops to talk to the security guard over there. And the security guard goes, pointing to me. The manager wanted to know where the promoter was. Why wasn't the promoter over here saying hello? So I signal my band. I go, we got to end. So we end the song. I quick get a towel, dry off. I get the check, and I go pound on the door. He opens it up. What? I said, I'm Rich Engler, the promoter. He goes, you're the promoter? I thought you were the drummer for the opening act. I said, I am. He said, oh my God. I said, is there a law against that? I said, well, did I do something wrong? He goes, well, this is just happens to be the biggest band in the world right now, and you're on stage. You didn't even greet the band. They're in there, whatever. He goes, give me the check, and slams the door in my face.
Oh, man.
So I thought, oh, glad that's over. It was not over. So the next day, everything went great. The next day, I go to work, and I get a call from my agent that I booked Yes from, the biggest band in the world at the time. She goes, hey, Rich, how are you, man? She goes, how'd the show go last night? I go, oh, it was great. She goes, it was a lady. She goes, you know, Brian Lane sometimes is a little out there, and he started going off. He was trying to tell me on the telephone that you were the opening act. And I said, yes, I was the opening act. She goes, oh my God, I can't believe this. She goes, I can't tell you any more shows. This is, unless you tell me right now, where do you want to be? Do you want to be on stage or behind stage? I said, I made up my mind. I was behind stage. And I quit the band the next day.
Wow.
And never played again.
Wow.
Until just recently.
Yeah.
And you know what's really great about these stories too is if you have not seen the documentary about Rich, you got to check it out because it's killer. I was mesmerized the whole time I watched this. But the thing that kept going through my mind, Rich, because we've known each other for so long, I never realized the role that Cindy played. Right now, and because I do a lot now with the women who rock, and I respect the ladies in rock and roll so much. I said, and I'm watching a movie and I'm looking. Cindy was the behind the scenes person the whole time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We've been together for 53 years. We've been married 50 years. I produced 6,000 shows, over 6,000 shows, and Cindy was at basically all of the shows.
Yeah.
And it's been crazy. I wrote the book, a little history. I started to write the book in 2010. I finally finished it in 2012. Cindy was the editor. She edited everything that I didn't know what to say or how to say it. And
I love it.
And then it came out, and it was a gigantic seller.
It led to the movie.
Scott Paulson was a DJ at DVE at the time, and he read the book and did the interview at DVE. And whenever I went in there, he was the only one that ever said this. He goes, Rich, this book is great. He said, but this is a movie.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so 10 years go by, and
there it is.
So somebody gets the book in L.A., sends it to another producer in Florida, and said, you got to read this book. It's a movie. So they read the book, somebody had the phone number. They called me up, and they said, is this Rich Engler? I go, yeah. I go, who is this? He goes, it's Brian Stork. I'm a producer. He said I have like 18 Emmys, and he said,
jeez.
I go, well, he goes, we want to make a movie out of your book. And I go, what? I was like stunned. I didn't even know what to say. He goes, but I need to see, where are you now? He goes, I want to meet you. I said, I'm on vacation with my family. He goes, well, I can't possibly not see you. I'm in Tampa. Where are you? I said, "I'm on Anna Marie Island." He said, "Give me an hour, I'll be there."
Wow.
And I go, "Oh, I'll give you 20 minutes." That's it. So 20 minutes turned out to be an hour and a half.
Yeah.
They brought all these trucks and lights and cameras and everything, and they were asking me all these questions. And some of the pieces are in the actual
From that original
it's
movie.
still in the movie, and it was a tremendous kickoff, and then COVID came. They couldn't get across the border to get Alex Lifeson in Canada. They couldn't get to England for Lou Graham, and so everything was on stall. And then once the pandemic lightened up, boom,
Yes.
they got it done, and it's
killer.
we're still in shock.
What's that like to have your life story and your life's work kind of translated onto the screen?
The Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
It really is. It's like we were so humbled and thankful that somebody recognized the book. We knew everybody liked the book. Well, we didn't get any negatives on the book, put
Yeah.
it that way. All the reviews were super. So, but we thought whenever this movie thing was just like, oh my God, this is historic. I mean, to be documented like this, the movie's going to live on longer than I am. That's for sure.
Wow.
In the stories, I thought I knew a lot of the stories till I watched the movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then today, when I'm talking to Rich, there's more stories that you got to tell us that you have a story somewhere hidden about Prince.
Well, I did. I do, and I told the story, but it didn't make the movie. So you're going to hear, yeah.
Exclusive.
So this is one of the early Prince days. Stanley Theater. I think probably the first time I ever had Prince. I did Prince probably 10 shows over my career and his career. And Prince was a very interesting individual because I guess he'd work in the studio and all of a sudden goes, "I want a tour." So he'd call up his associate and say, "Hey, I want a tour." And the associate would say, "When?" He goes, "Next month." And next month, yeah, put it together. You want to be my manager, right? Put it together. So I'd get a call. They go, "Hey, you want to do Prince?" I'd be, "Yeah, absolutely." When? Like next summer, next what? No, next month.
Woo.
So I'd have to call the Civic. Well, at that time it was the Stanley, the first one. So the Stanley Theater. Prince stole something a little bit from James Brown. James would always send Fabulous Flames and the band on first.
Yeah.
If anything's going to go wrong, it's going to happen before I get my ass on the stage. So the band's out, Prince's band's playing out there, all good, and he had the female in the band.
Wendy and Lisa?
No, a long name.
Apollonia?
Apollonia.
Mhm.
Right. Okay. So they're out there all dancing, swerving, moving, everything sexy, lights, really nice. And I'm talking to Prince off stage like this, and the band's playing over there. I look at Prince. He's still in the robe though, like a shower robe. And I said, "You better get ready." After we talked for a while, when where's the tour going next, and I'm so glad to have you. All those, small talk. I said, "You better get ready." He goes, "Don't worry." He goes, "I'll be ready." And all of once an announcer goes, "And ladies and gentlemen, Prince." He throws off the robe. He has a black bikini underwear on, and that's it. And that's how
I know what era that
the show.
was.
That's how the show started.
Oh my God!
Oh yeah, he was something else in those early
So
days.
he's out there gyrating and going on, and I go back to the back of the hall. The policeman comes to me. He goes, "What's going on here?" He goes, "Is this a rock and roll show or a sex show?"
Yeah.
And I thought we were going to get shut down.
Oh.
Now we're way into the show a little bit. Now it's getting sexier. The lights are way down. Apollonia's jiving around with him. It looks like they were simulating different sorts of sex. Simulating or actually happening, you really couldn't tell because the way the lights and everything
Yes.
was flashing, you know, you couldn't see too much. But it was a memorable event. And I got through it. And fortunately, I don't think there was any writers there because I don't think it was
Oh, they would've
documented. So,
But what a memory. Huh? Now, we do this segment, Rich, every now and then that we throw 4 quick questions at you, okay? And we're going to ask you something old, something new, something treasured,
Something true.
something true. So if we're first thing comes to your mind. So if I say to you something old, what do you say?
myself.
We use that line a lot.
So something new.
Something new. What is going on right now? It's a crime. It's terrible with Live Nation and Ticketmaster and what they've done and tortured the audience. Isn't it strange that StubHub and all the scalpers had tickets, but the public didn't have tickets?
Yeah.
What's going on there?
Yeah.
It's going to come out.
Yeah.
Let me tell you,
it's a little
it's going
messy.
to come out, and it, you know, and I say this in the movie that things have changed. The business will never, I don't think, will ever be the same. And the ticket prices keep going up,
crazy.
and up. Service charges keep going up and up and up, because they keep giving it to the acts, because that's the only way they can make money.
Yep.
But you don't gouge the audience. You make it. It's now to a point. It's absolutely absurd.
Yes.
I'm just so thankful that I lived the moment of history that created a wonderful business.
Yep.
And to see it basically being tainted now with this whole deal, it's unfortunate.
What a shame.
Yeah.
It's something
That's
treasured.
a long answer.
No, that's a
No,
good
it's
answer.
a great
That's
answer.
good
Absolutely. Tell me something treasured.
Treasured would be the feelings that producing all those shows, 6,000 shows, the enjoyment that people got from the feeling.
No doubt about
I say
that.
it many times. You can watch things on MTV, you can watch concerts on big screens, but nothing like the feeling of being there.
Absolutely.
That's treasured.
No,
It is treasured.
That's my whole life is concert, so I get it. Something true.
Something true. Well, my love for Cindy.
There it is.
Oh.
And that you can see immediately.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, that's going to be a big part. Cindy will come up and talk about that too if we get a couple minutes.
Love to.
Yeah.
In fact, now we're going to maybe change things up a little bit tonight, right? Since this is such a special night. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, why don't we have Cindy join us?
Let's do it.
Let's have some fun. We'll be right back at you. Hey, we're back. We usually do
Hey.
Sorry.
Welcome back to Bridging the Gap.
yeah, we usually do a jam session. This is our jam session right here. We are just having some fun here with Rich and Cindy Engler, right? And it's so good to have you guys here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you talk about a loving couple. Look at this. This is
Thanks for the
beautiful.
invitation.
Cindy, here's what I want to hear. You know, I've seen it in a movie now, but when I talk with you, you can just see the connection with you two. You know,
Yeah.
what's it been like living with this guy now for 50-some years and experiencing rock and roll?
Well, you know, we grew up with it.
Yeah.
When we met, Rich was in a band,
Yep.
and I didn't know who the Grains of Sand was, and so
No money.
we met. We had no money. We had no car. I was going
Yeah.
to Art Institute,
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
and you know, we just kind of grew into this life together.
Yes.
We had nothing. He finally got an office, and we
I
didn't
saw
have
that
we didn't have
office.
anywhere to live. So he put a little partition, and our apartment was as wide as the
Yep.
bed is long, that fit a single bed.
Yep.
And we had this little TV. I mean, it was so much fun, you know. And then Rich started making money. I mean, you know, he was having all these
Absolutely.
bands and making money, and we just kind of grew into this life, this beautiful life that we have now.
Yes. Yes.
And
funny.
You know, we didn't have a car. We finally bought a little Volkswagen Beetle in my dad's name, and Rich would get tickets all the time parking. My dad was from Bedford, Pennsylvania, never had a parking ticket, and he was getting all these summons in the mail from my
I
boyfriend.
love it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, he started making money. The next thing we know, we bought a Bentley.
You still have that?
No, we
No, okay.
That's a big jump.
so we drive up to, so I see a house. We're not even married yet. I see a house that was just built in North Hills, in this real contemporary neighborhood, if there is such a thing, and there was at
Oh,
that
yeah.
time. And I drive up and I look at the house and I said, I'm going to buy this house. And so I drive back to get to the, I said, come on, I want to show you something. And I drove her up there in the it was a yellow Bentley.
Yellow
I
Bentley.
drive up there. We have the high heel boots and
Oh, the big
whole
chubby
deal.
fur. I mean, 1969.
That was
Long
1969.
haired,
Yeah.
I love
big
it.
chubby, like
So
snakeskin
we
boots.
jump out and I go,
That's rock and roll. I'm
honey,
sorry.
this is
Super rock and roll.
honey, this is yours. She goes, oh my God! Then I said, hey, now I think we have to get married.
Well, that's
So-
not quite how it went.
Another truth.
He said,
teller.
you better call your parents and tell them that we're buying a
okay.
house.
Yeah.
So I'm on the phone with my mother, and I'm like, we bought a house. And there was this dead silence. They were like strict Christians, you know. Like,
Yes, yes.
And Rich goes, tell them we're probably getting married. That was my proposal.
That was weak. I'm sorry.
He was always smooth.
Yeah.
Always.
It seemed to work. I think everything panned
Yeah.
out all right.
Yeah, but seriously, I mean, we met, and 2 weeks from the day we met, Rich took me home. You saw this in the movie.
Yeah.
And I was living on Stanton Avenue, and a third floor walk up, and these real cool guys lived on the first floor, and they were always out partying with the American flag.
Yeah.
He took me home 2 weeks from the day we met, and he looked at me. He said, get your clothes, you're moving in with me. And I was like, okay. And I said, okay, and we moved in together 2 weeks from the day we met, and that was March 10th, 1969.
69.
Wow.
There it
So-
is.
And I started my first company 1 week later.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
On
So we've
Walnut
kind
Street.
of grown into this life.
Like, wait,
You know-
You've adapted well.
that's a great story.
And look, we
Oh,
both
thank
still
you.
have hair.
That's a
So, that's right.
And not bad stomachs. Yeah, that's another
Thank you.
story. We've
Yeah.
got to get into the risk, the what a promoter really is.
Oh, and you would know, because I've seen some of the things that you put money into, and it's like you never know if you're going to walk out rich or poor.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness,
You know, it's
that's so true. I mean, people just see the positive side,
Of course.
and they
Yeah.
just see like, oh,
Well, it's a very glamorous business,
It is.
obviously.
Well, yes.
I mean, hang out with everybody.
be at
I
Bon
mean-
Jovi's wedding, you know. Like,
That's all.
Just a wedding.
hang out, you know. I mean, it's fun.
Yeah, and it was
But-
so natural. I mean, Paul McCartney inviting us to backstage to his last show in Soldier Field. I did the 2 nights in Pittsburgh, and he goes, "Hey, you have to come, you and your wife,
my.
party with Linda and I backstage." And sure enough, we get an invitation.
Too much.
We went. I mean, that,
Too much.
It was it, but it wasn't like.
It wasn't,
wasn't
like,
like-
we were
we weren't like-
starstruck or
Yeah,
anything,
it was
because
just. It
they're
was just
people.
business.
Just
They're-
was.
Good
They're
you were
just
in it all the
people.
time.
Yeah, they're just,
Yeah. It
and
was,
we still have a lot of really, really good friends.
absolutely.
What part of the business, I know you guys did some work together and you mentioned it kind of behind the scenes. What was your role in it? Or was it just like supporting the business? What part of it did you
Support,
do?
yeah.
Because I would imagine there would have to be
Moral
moral and
support,
emotional for what that
yes.
is. I can see the stress.
We don't
being
want to give
crazy.
everything away, but there
Yeah.
was one part of it. Whenever a Kiss came out, hardly
yeah.
anybody knew who they were. But if you knew who they were, you were going to the show. And I had them at the Stanley Theater. Sells out 3,500 seats, and I get a call from the manager. He goes, "Hey, I see you sold out the show tonight." I go, "Yeah." He said, "You did send a limo for the band, right?" I said, "No, that's not in the contract." He goes, "You did send a limo for the band, right?" And I said, "No, but I'll see what I can do." He said, "Well, that would be good." So I hang up the phone. So I call Cindy. You know, we had the Rolls Royce. I said, "Cindy, will you do me a giant favor?" She goes, "No."
Sure, I knew.
I said, "Please."
He said, would you go to the airport and pick up Kiss? I was like, Are you kidding me? Are
Yeah.
you kidding me?
We don't want to give the whole story away, but
That's right.
I made her go to the show, and that's a big part of the one of the big parts of the movie. So we don't want to give
yes.
that.
No, you got to watch the movie. It's good. It's
We'll
a good
just say
thing.
Gene
About-
Simmons is involved.
There you go. There you go.
Anytime he's involved, never good.
Yeah, that's slow, man.
Never good.
I just got
funny.
nervous when I heard that. Jeez.
Oh, he's a character.
Mhm.
That's yeah. We've actually gotten to know him pretty well,
I'm
and
sure.
his wife. but
Yes, yes.
He's a character.
But then, yeah.
But I want to thank you so much because this is a thrill for us too because when we
Thank
do
you,
this,
thank
we're learning more and more about our business. You think you know a lot until you meet somebody like you two, and then you realize how much more there is and what experiences you've had.
Yeah.
And it's such a pleasure to have you on the
Oh,
show.
thank you.
Hey, thanks for being here, guys. Thank you.
And
fun.
that ends our jam session. I love it.
It doesn't get much better than
No,
that.
I love it. This was the best jam session we've ever had.
Before we go, why don't you let people know the name of the movie and the book?
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. The name of the book is Behind the Stage Door.
Yes.
And you can go to my website at richengler.com and watch the trailer for free. And I think now it is streaming worldwide,
Yes.
and it's called Behind the Stage Door as well, the movie. And it's just got signed to Amazon. You can see it on Apple TV Plus. You can see it on Apple iTunes, DirecTV, Verizon,
Frontier.
and Frontier, and probably some other things. We were talking to somebody the other day. They called. They were in Spain, and they watched it in Spain.
That's awesome.
So we were like,
It's great.
I actually cried.
He did cry, real tears.
That's super.
That,
That's
I
super.
said, I just can't believe this. It's like, it's surreal. For real. For real, surreal.
For real.
For real.
So much appreciated.
Oh, thank you.
Make sure you tune in. Make sure you check out the movie, check out the book, and thank you once
Oh,
again.
Good luck,
Thank you,
good
guys.
night, and good luck tomorrow.